Thank you for choosing Baxter Auto Parts. This is Derek. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is James Johnson. I would like to know if I can get a valley pan for that. I'd like to know.
That goes under the intake, right?
Yeah.
It's an 82 F150.
Yeah, 351 Windsor.
I'm showing intake manifold gasket set. It might come with that, but it doesn't say.
So what are we off to? Okay, well, first of all, we're reusing this, getting rid of this pressure switch. We don't need that. It's not being used. Some things that we also have to reuse. We're reusing this because this has 2 vacuum ports on the end of it, so I need that. So I'll have to get a gasket for it. I'll just get a regular square bore gasket for it, just to seal it right around the edge there. Don't really feel like RTVing it. I'm gonna get some dry towels so I can lean up against this and not get my crotch wet. And we'll go ahead and move some stuff back. Pull this guy out. I'll go ahead and put in our gaskets. Unfortunately, putting the gaskets in, we'll have to use a little bit of RTV just to hold them in place. A couple other things we'll need is a new carb spacer. This one's junk. I'm gonna go to Connects and get one for a square bore. Or actually a 4 bore. It doesn't really matter because I'm using this. And I gotta get studs. Hopefully I can get me studs that are fairly long. Out she comes. I'll need to get a razor blade to clean that gasket surface up. You know, it's funny, I was looking at the Edelbrock equivalent of this, and they don't have a rear water passage. So I'm kind of glad I got that one, because now we'll have full circulation around the motor, which is good. Yeah, I'll get a towel and wipe up that coolant. Since I'm not getting a valley pan for this, because I can't find one, I'll have some extra money to do an oil change. We're gonna put Royal Purple in this. Okay, got all the mounting surfaces all scraped up. Just need to wipe them down and get all the oil and stuff off. I'll probably get in here with a rag and the vacuum and clean up a little bit of debris that fell down on the bottom there. Once we get that cleaned up, we can wipe her down. And then I'll get my gaskets out here, get a little bit of RTV on them, and go ahead and drop those onto the motor. So I'm thinking by Friday this should be running. Oh, I really can't wait. Okay, ran into 2 issues. I'm gonna have to get a different water port here. And these 2 here, I don't know where they go. I know they're for the intake, but I don't know on where, because everywhere on this intake, they're too long. Alright, morning tubes. I'm gonna head up to Fastenal, a little hardware store that we have. It's kind of like the Walmart of the Ace Hardware. It's a little bit bigger. They got more stuff. They've got some good high quality vacuum line that I need. Basically, we're replacing the brake booster hose, and we're replacing a whole bunch of vacuum lines that run all the emissions, and including the lines that run the 2 ends that connect the steel line going to the transmission. Alright, we got some new intake manifold bolts. These are pretty much the same exact thing. And then washers to go with it. Went to the awesome guys here at Fastenal. Okay. They're nicely cleaned up. well, this is going to be a vacuum source. I don't really know where to put it. I'll put it right there. Still got to make a block off for it. We got washers, they're new intake manifold bolts. These are the same grade as the ones that came off the truck. And they're the same length, same thread, same style, just brand new. We got these plugs here. And these, you're wondering, what the hell am I using those for? Well, on the back, as you can see, there are these little ports there. Well, kind of need to plug those up, or else it'll never ever hold water, ever. One thing with this intake, it is a bit of a tight fit, but she's in there. And the socket you want to use to torque down your bolts with is a 1/2. A 13 works, but it's a tiny bit loose, and you really want these to be snug. Okay, I'm going to use a nice 6-inch extension. This is a fat one. We're not doing any extreme torque sequences here, so we should be good. I'm going to have to get a flashlight down there. Well, that's what she's pretty much going to look like when she's all buttoned up. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and stop for now. We still got a few more things to do. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of a boo-boo here. I'm trying to torque that down. It just went pop, and it kind of ruined the threads down there. Isn't that just fucking dandy? Alright, I went ahead and picked up 3 jugs of fresh coolant. I try not this low talk stuff just because we have pets, and you know, adds you an extra level of safety. You know, if you have a leak or something, it helps you know, protect the animals. Our cats happen to be kind of smart, and they don't drink it if it happens to get on the ground, so that's kind of nice. Anyways, I got 2 square bore gaskets, and just one of these in case I need it, because I think this would probably be beneficial to have on the bottom of that EGR port. So now we're going to head to the O'Reilly's in Oregon City to pick up a little water port, and then had this dickhead behind me in this Buick. You probably can't even see him back there, but he tried flying out next to me trying to get into this lane that I'm in now, and I fucking punched it, and I was like, no, you're not getting in front of me. The lane's just about to freaking end. It doesn't matter. Okay, I got my parts. Let's get the flock out of here. I like this O'Reilly's. They got a lot more stuff in the place by my house. They've got all kinds of different air cleaners. They have more intake manifolds, mainly just Chevys, but that don't bother me because I already got one for my Ford. They got a lot of good stuff. I was quite happy with that place, and they had everything I needed, so it was well worth the drive coming out here. Alright, I got my new choke in. Actually seems to, it's staying on right now because I have it at its stock setting. So it does appear to be somewhat functioning, at least in its static state. So what do we do now? Well, I'm gonna take this. Oh wait, I don't have gaskets for that shit. I was gonna take this bottom part out, but I don't need to. But look, vacuum here, vacuum here. So let's see. There's a vacuum line there. This here, got this hooked up to go to this right here. So it's got a big vacuum port right here, which is where that's gonna hook up to. I got this hooked up to that big guy. And then I'm going to run a T somewhere for the back so we can have vacuum for the HVAC as well as the transmission. Which I think I might run a T off of this for that. Or off here. I don't know, I'll see. Kind of had to cattywampus the linkage there. Since everything got brought up, it does change the angles or the heights and lengths of everything, so this has to be kind of moved over a little bit. And I think it might be a little too tight because this spring should be kind of relaxed. And at this O'Reilly's that I went to get my stuff, they had aluminum heads for this. Man, they had some huge valves. But everything is hooked up. Our distributor is hooked up. We have our temp sensor in place. We have all our plugs in. We have our ground wire in the back. We have this hooked up. This is hooked up to our distributor, which I believe that's where it's supposed to go. These things are hooked up. I just need to hook that up. I'm going to tighten down the carburetor right now. Transmission's hooked up, and oh yeah, I gotta run a line down for that. So I got a couple more things to hook up, and then we'll deal with that transmission linkage. And I gotta get the hose. The hose is just gonna come up and then wrap. What I'll do is after we get this hooked up and the hose back on, before we deal with the transmission kickdown linkage, we're gonna see if it starts. Well, I got a couple of hang-ups here. One, we need I'm gonna have to reuse this hose here. So I wanted to get a 5/8, but when I grabbed the bag, I guess I grabbed a 3/4. And then this other stuff I have, which is a half, isn't the right size, and I didn't figure out the right size until after I had come back, and somewhere here it said like 5/8. Yeah, right there, 5/8. So I need a 5/8, and I actually have to buy an elbow for this. So I'm gonna have to order one somewhere. I gotta see how much cash I have after I pay my bills, and I don't want to run out of cash for the week. So yeah. Anyways, man, it's gonna look nice when it's all done. I mean, it pretty much is. But man, it looks sweet. All right, we're gonna try and start it. But we're not going to run it for any more than a minute. We're just going to see how it runs. If it runs at all. And it's going to be pretty cranky. It's going to crank and crank and crank until it pumps up. Yeah, I think we dumped a little bit of coolant. I don't know. Wow. Still runs a little weird. It's got a weird lope to it. It's a lamb!